Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to reflect on an age-old pursuit, the quest for happiness. Yet in our modern age, this pursuit has often been reduced to a mere chase after fleeting pleasures or the pursuit of superficial goals. But true happiness, the kind that endures, is something far more profound. It is not the consequence of mere circumstance, but the outcome of design, a deliberate, intentional shaping of one's life. Let us begin with an important truth. Happiness is not something that happens to us. It is something we must actively create. Far too often, we wait for external events to align perfectly, to grant us the joy we long for. We pin our hopes on wealth, fame, or success, only to find, as so many before us have, that these things fail to bring lasting peace. True happiness is not something bestowed upon us from the outside. It is cultivated from within, through our choices. And what are these choices? It begins with the responsibility we must all bear. Life will present us with countless opportunities, each one a path, some leading to fulfillment, others to despair. It is not enough to drift through life, hoping for good fortune. We must take charge of our fate, discerning carefully what brings us closer to the kind of life we would love to live. We must understand that our decisions, large and small, shape the quality of our lives. But what then makes a life truly worth living? Is it the number of pleasures we collect? Is it the avoidance of suffering? No. It is virtue and meaning. It is the integrity of our character and the deeper purpose that governs our days. Happiness does not reside in indulgence, but in the cultivation of virtues such as courage, patience, honesty, and kindness. These virtues act as the foundation upon which genuine happiness can grow. Without them, our joy will be shallow, easily shaken by the first gust of adversity. With them, we can weather the storms of life, for we are rooted in something far greater than transient emotions, if you will, the relationship between our desires and our fulfillment. We live in a world of endless distractions, constantly urging us to satisfy our appetites. And yet, the things we desire are not always the things that bring us the peace we seek. In our rush to satisfy our desires, we must ask ourselves, do they truly serve our well-being, or do they merely soothe a temporary longing? True happiness lies not in the pursuit of every fleeting wish, but in the thoughtful cultivation of desires that align with our deeper needs for connection, for meaning, for purpose. To design a life you love is to create a life grounded in these principles. It is to acknowledge that happiness is not a destination, but a journey, one we must walk with intention, with virtue, and with a clear sense of our higher purpose. It is, above all, a life designed to reflect the very best of who we are, not the easiest, most convenient version of ourselves. It is, therefore, as you leave this gathering, remember this. Happiness is not something that simply arrives at your doorstep. It is something you must build, brick by brick, through thoughtful choices, meaningful pursuits, and virtuous living. Happiness, as many have come to understand, is not a random occurrence, nor is it a gift that is handed down from the heavens. It is the result of deliberate actions, thoughtful decisions, and conscious choices. It is an ongoing process, one that requires effort and responsibility. Far too often, we mistake happiness for a state of passive enjoyment, something that will simply arrive when we have achieved certain goals or attained specific material possessions. However, if we understand that happiness is something that must be designed, it becomes evident that we are the architects of our own contentment. This notion requires us to take ownership of our lives, to make conscious decisions that align with our true values, and to step into our responsibility as the creators of our own happiness. We must acknowledge that happiness is a result of choice. We live in a world that often presents us with external circumstances that seem beyond our control. The economy, the weather, the actions of others, all of these factors can influence our moods and our outlook on life. However, none of these factors have the power to dictate the course of our lives in a lasting way. The true power lies in how we respond to these circumstances. It is not the events themselves that shape our happiness, but the meaning we attach to them and the way we choose to react. A person who finds himself in a difficult situation can either view it as a challenge to overcome or as an insurmountable obstacle. The choice is his. One person may look at the same series of events and be filled with despair, while another may find strength and growth. What makes the difference? It is the decision to approach life with a mindset of agency and responsibility. By recognizing our responsibility in creating happiness, we also begin to understand the importance of living intentionally. Happiness does not come from living on autopilot, from letting life happen to us, or from reacting passively to whatever comes our way. It requires active participation in the crafting of our lives. When we live intentionally, we are aware of our choices and decisions at every moment, understanding that each action we take contributes to the overall structure of our well-being. Happiness by design is about making choices that align with our values, that nurture our growth, and that help us build the life we truly want to live. Whether it is how we spend our time, who we surround ourselves with, or the goals we pursue, these choices create the conditions for lasting contentment. But how do we begin to design happiness? The first step is to reflect on what truly matters to us. Far too many of us chase external markers of success, wealth, status, and recognition, believing that these will lead to happiness. Yet time and again, we see that when these desires are attained, they do not bring the fulfillment we expect. The life we design must be aligned with what is truly meaningful to us, not with what society or external influences tell us we should want. It is about aligning our actions with our values. When we do this, we create a life that feels authentic, one that resonates with our inner selves. Another important aspect of responsibility and happiness is the ability to make decisions based on long-term fulfillment rather than short-term gratification. Many of us are guilty of seeking instant pleasures, whether it be indulging in unhealthy food, seeking distractions through mindless entertainment, or avoiding the hard work that true fulfillment requires. These fleeting pleasures can give us a temporary sense of satisfaction, but they do not lead to long-lasting happiness. When we design our lives with a focus on meaningful goals, we begin to understand that true happiness often requires sacrifice, effort, and time. We may need to choose the harder path in the moment, the path that involves discipline, persistence, and patience, but the rewards are far more profound. Choosing the long-term benefits over short-term pleasures is a choice that reflects responsibility and maturity. We must understand that happiness does not exist in a vacuum. We are all interconnected with others, and our relationships with those around us play a crucial role in our overall sense of well-being. It is not enough to focus solely on ourselves. We must also consider how we contribute to the happiness of others. Living a life of kindness, compassion, and service creates a ripple effect that not only improves the lives of those we encounter, but also nourishes our own hearts. By designing a life that involves meaningful connections with others, we cultivate a support system that nurtures our happiness and provides us with the strength to weather life's inevitable challenges. Happiness is not a passive experience. It is a choice, a responsibility, and an ongoing process. We must be willing to actively design the lives we want to lead, understanding that the path to true contentment is one we must walk with intention. The decisions we make today shape the lives we will live tomorrow, and through conscious, thoughtful choices, we have the power to create a life filled with joy, purpose, and fulfillment. True happiness cannot be found in the accumulation of material wealth or the pursuit of fleeting pleasures. It lies deeper in the cultivation of virtues and the search for meaning. In a world that often prioritizes external success over internal growth, it is crucial to recognize that lasting contentment stems not from our circumstances, but from the quality of our character. The pursuit of virtue is the foundation upon which genuine happiness is built. For a life that is virtuous is one that is aligned with our higher purpose and values. Virtue, at its core, is the practice of moral excellence. It involves living according to principles that elevate our humanity rather than indulging in selfish desires that diminish our potential. The pursuit of virtue is not a one-time event, but a lifelong endeavor. It requires constant reflection, effort, and self-discipline. When we live virtuously, we become more attuned to what truly matters: relationships, integrity, and personal growth. Virtues such as kindness, honesty, patience, courage, and humility enable us to navigate the complexities of life with a sense of inner peace and stability. One of the primary virtues that contributes to happiness is patience. In a fast-pacing world that constantly demands instant gratification, patience is a rare and invaluable quality. The ability to delay immediate desires in favor of long-term goals is an essential aspect of a well-lived life. Patience allows us to endure hardships and setbacks without losing hope. It teaches us that true happiness is not found in the absence of challenges, but in our ability to face them with resilience and perseverance. A patient person understands that life's journey is not a sprint, but a marathon, and that the rewards of a life well lived come through sustained effort over time. Another virtue that plays a significant role in our happiness is courage. It takes courage to face life's difficulties head-on, to embrace change, and to challenge our own limitations. Fear often holds us back from pursuing our dreams or confronting uncomfortable truths. Courage allows us to step outside of our comfort zones, to take risks, and to learn from our failures. It is through acts of courage that we grow and evolve, moving closer to the person we are meant to become. The courageous person does not shy away from adversity, but faces it with determination, knowing that the path to true fulfillment often requires bravery. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Honesty, too, is a cornerstone of a meaningful life. In a society that often values appearance over substance, it can be tempting to conceal our true selves, or to tell lies in order to avoid discomfort. Yet, dishonesty erodes trust and creates a disconnect between our inner and outer worlds. By choosing honesty, we align our actions with our values, cultivating a sense of integrity that fosters self-respect and the respect of others. An honest person is at peace with who they are, free from the anxiety that comes with living a double life. Honesty opens the door to authentic relationships where trust and mutual understanding can flourish. In turn, these relationships become a source of strength and joy. Kindness, one of the simplest yet most profound virtues, is essential to our happiness. A kind person spreads goodwill and positivity wherever they go, uplifting others with their actions and words. Kindness fosters connection and builds bridges between people, creating a sense of community and belonging. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, have the power to transform both the giver and the receiver. When we practice kindness, we enrich our own lives as well as the lives of those around us. It is through kindness that we experience the true joy of giving without expectation of anything in return. The satisfaction derived from helping others and making a positive impact on the world is unparalleled and contributes significantly to our overall sense of well-being. The pursuit of virtue is also closely tied to the search for meaning in life. Happiness that is rooted in virtue is not fleeting or superficial. It is the result of living a life that aligns with a deeper purpose. Meaning provides us with direction and motivation, enabling us to navigate life's challenges with a sense of hope and determination. The quest for meaning is an individual journey, unique to each person. It may be found in creative expression, in serving others, in the pursuit of knowledge, or in the cultivation of relationships. Meaningful work, in particular, provides a sense of fulfillment that material success alone cannot match. When our work is aligned with our values and contributes to the greater good, we experience a profound sense of purpose that brings us lasting happiness. A life filled with virtue and meaning offers a sense of fulfillment that external achievements cannot provide. While fame, wealth, and recognition may offer temporary satisfaction, they are ultimately hollow without the foundation of virtue. Happiness that is rooted in virtue and meaning is enduring and resilient, able to withstand the inevitable challenges that life presents. The more we cultivate these qualities, the more we become the architects of our own happiness. Rather than relying on external factors to determine our happiness, we become empowered to create a life that is rich in purpose, integrity, and joy. Happiness is not a goal to be achieved, but a byproduct of living virtuously. As we strive to develop our character and live in accordance with our values, we naturally experience a deep sense of contentment and peace. True happiness is the result of a life well lived, one that is marked by courage, patience, honesty, kindness, and a search for meaning. It is a happiness that comes from within, grounded in the virtues that guide us on our journey. In the pursuit of happiness, one of the most crucial aspects to understand is the complex relationship between our desires and our true needs. Often, happiness is misunderstood as the satisfaction of every whim, desire, or craving we experience. However, the path to genuine fulfillment is not through the constant chasing of momentary pleasures, but through the careful discernment of what we truly need for lasting well-being. This distinction between desire and need is essential in crafting a life that leads to happiness by design. Our desires are often influenced by external sources, advertisements, societal expectations, or the behaviors of others. These external pressures can lead us to desire things that, while appealing in the short term, ultimately do not serve our deeper well-being. For instance, the desire for material wealth or status may seem enticing, but these desires often do not lead to true fulfillment. The accumulation of possessions, while momentarily satisfying, does not guarantee happiness. People often find themselves trapped in a cycle of wanting more clothes, more gadgets, more recognition, yet the satisfaction derived from these possessions fades over time. The cycle continues, and so does the pursuit of the next object or experience, but the deeper sense of contentment remains elusive. In contrast, true happiness emerges when we learn to discern between fleeting desires and needs that foster true well-being. True needs are different. They are not dictated by external forces, but arise from a deeper understanding of what is essential for a flourishing life. These needs are rooted in our humanity, our need for connection, purpose, meaning, and inner peace. They are fundamental to our well-being and contribute to a life of contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. Understanding our true needs requires introspection and self-awareness. They determine the direction and focus of our well-being and contribute to our life's interaction. And self-awareness is necessary to find a healthy, happy, and healthy balance. These needs are rooted in our humanity, our need for inspiration and self-awareness. It involves questioning our motivations and examining whether our desires align with what will ultimately nourish us. For example, the need for relationships and community is intrinsic to human nature. Connection with others provides a sense of belonging and emotional fulfillment that material possessions simply cannot offer. True happiness is often found in the bonds we create with others, the love we give and receive, the support we offer, and the shared experiences that bring us joy. Distinguishing between desire and need requires a deeper understanding of the role of self-discipline in achieving happiness. Self-discipline is the ability to resist immediate gratification in favor of long-term rewards. It allows us to make decisions that align with our deeper values and needs, rather than being swayed by transient desires. For example, choosing to spend time working on a meaningful project, even when other distractions may seem more immediately appealing, is an act of self-discipline. Similarly, resisting the urge to indulge in unhealthy habits, whether it is overeating, procrastination, or excessive entertainment, requires the ability to prioritize our long-term well-being over short-term pleasure. Self-discipline is a vital skill in the pursuit of happiness because it empowers us to focus on what truly matters rather than being swept away by fleeting desires that do not contribute to our ultimate fulfillment. It is also essential to recognize that some of our desires are not inherently negative, but they need to be placed in the right context. Desiring success, comfort, or recognition in itself is not a flaw. However, these desires must be moderated by a deeper understanding of their place in our lives. Success, for instance, can be a legitimate desire when it aligns with our values and contributes to the greater good. But when success becomes the ultimate goal, pursued at the expense of relationships, integrity, or well-being, it can lead us astray. Similarly, seeking comfort is natural, but it must not become a desire that leads to laziness or avoidance of the challenges that contribute to personal growth. The key is to balance these desires with the understanding that they must serve a higher purpose in order to lead us to true happiness. Footnote: the process of distinguishing between desire and need is deeply intertwined with the concept of gratitude. Gratitude helps us shift our focus away from what we lack toward what we already have. When we cultivate gratitude, we begin to appreciate the things that truly matter, the relationships, experiences, and internal resources that contribute to our well-being. Gratitude allows us to recognize that we often already possess the elements that lead to happiness. By being grateful for the things that truly nourish us, we begin to lessen the hold that superficial desires have over us. We come to understand that happiness is not something that is acquired through more possessions or experiences, but something that is cultivated within us through a shift in perspective. When we turn, contentment becomes an important aspect of happiness. Contentment is the ability to be at peace with what we have, while still striving for personal growth and fulfillment. It is not complacency, but rather the recognition that we are enough as we are, and that happiness is not contingent on acquiring more. The desire for more, whether it is more wealth, more possessions, or more success, often stems from an underlying feeling of inadequacy. When we learn to cultivate contentment, we free ourselves from the cycle of endless longing. Contentment allows us to find joy in the present moment, appreciating what we have rather than constantly yearning for what we do not. It is a mindset that enables us to find happiness not in external circumstances, but in our internal state of being.